Hi everyone, welcome to Wendy Speaks. I am your host D. First, let me just say thank you. Thank you for taking out time of your day, to be here. I know life is busy, you've got things to do, but somehow you've decided to spend some time listening to me talk today. And this means a lot to me, and I just want to say thank you. Wendy Speaks is a space for real conversations. We're going to be talking about adulthood, the parts that nobody really prepares you for. We'll be talking about work, relationship, personal growth, resilience, and how to actually build a life that makes sense instead of just reacting to whatever is happening around you. We're not going to be stating theories or trying to prove points. We are not here for motivation, even that does sound good, but it doesn't really work. We're here because life is real and it is hard, and you need someone to actually talk about it honestly. So, if you're still figuring things out, if you're still finding your footing, if you're still struggling, even if you're winning and you want to win better, then the space is for you. If you hear what resonates with you, do me a favor, like, share, follow, comment, and share it with someone that you love. Send it to that friend who needs to hear this. Post it in your group chats. You know, let's just grow together. Now let's dive into today's episode. Hey guys, so most of us aren't really working 9 to 5. We are working 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. When you add the commute. So, do you actually, so when do you actually learn, a new skill? When do you improve on an existing skill? When do you build, the skills that will make you the fortune that you really seek? The answer isn't finding more time, it's about making a choice, knowing why, protecting your weekends, and understanding the math, right? And that math is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about that choice, we're going to be talking about the reason, and then we're going to be talking about that math in today's episode, right? So let's be real. The whole 9 to 5 thing, it's a lie. Nobody actually works 9 to 5 anymore. We wake up at 6 a.m. to beat traffic, you get to work 8 a.m., you work 8 hours, you leave at 5 p.m., and then you're sitting in traffic for 2 3 hours. You don't get home until maybe 7 or 8 p.m. So you're actually working 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., and that's 14 hours of your day gone. 14 hours out of 24 hours. Wow. Wow. Right? And then you're supposed to sleep for 6 hours. That leaves you with 4 hours, right? But anyways, and then there are going to be people telling you, oh, just learn a skill, if you want to move out of this kind of loophole of job, if you want to move out of the rat hole, they'll tell you to upskill, tell you to learn a new skill, tell you to transition, right? Learn a skill, take a course, work on the personal development. And I'm like, when am I really supposed to do this? When I'm barely even sleeping, right? Today we're going to talk about how exactly to do that, how I did that, how to learn, how to grow, how to change your life when you literally don't have time. And spoiler alert, you actually do have time. You just need to make a choice. So, last year I made a conscious move to mix what I was doing, that's my 9 to 5 in quotes, with learning, with improving on a skill that I already had, I was already building. So I took a conscious effort, I made a choice to now build on it, right? I was doing more like 6 to 8 p.m., not 9 to 5, right? I was tired all the time, like mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. I come home, eat, shower, and just collapse into bed most of the time. And the whole time, there was this voice in the back of my head saying, you need to learn something, you need to do something, you need to upskill. The world is moving fast and you are staying in the same place, right? It was just a lot. But I was too tired. I didn't have the energy to learn, I didn't have the time, and honestly, I didn't even know where to start, right? For a year, I just, didn't. I went to work, came home, scrolled my phone, went to bed, and repeated the same process over again. And at the end of the year, I was exactly where I started. No new skills, no growth, just tired. Repeating the same process every day for approximately 360 days. Approximately, because obviously I don't work 360 days, right? And then something shifted. I got really honest with myself, and I was like, if you don't do something different, your entire life is going to stay in this same spot. Your job isn't going to really change because it wasn't really going to change. Your salary isn't going to improve. My situation isn't going to get better because I'm not really doing anything different. And then that's when I realized that it's not about time really. It's actually about choice. Yeah, so I started waking up 2 hours earlier, um, around 4:30 a.m., 5 thereabouts, before everything else, before work, before the chaos of the day, and I decided to dedicate those 2 hours to learning and growing and building. And it was hard at first, right? I had so much issues getting off the bed. I'd snooze my alarm multiple times. My bed was always the best place to be, under my duvet. Right? I was tired, my brain wanted more sleep, but I kept asking myself, right? Why are you really doing this? Why am I really doing this? And I had a real answer. I wanted to transition into a better paying job, with a better skill, a skill that made me more valuable. I wanted to build some skill that would make me valuable in a very different way. And so I did. I dedicated 2 hours every morning for like 3 months, and by the end of those 3 months, I had learned something substantial. I had built a portfolio, I had changed my trajectory, I had taken boot camps, I had, built my skill in different area. And I remember thinking, how did I do that? Right? I was so tired, I didn't have time, but I did have the time, I just had to choose to use it that way. Here's what I learned from that experience. First, it starts with a decision, not inspiration, not motivation, just a decision. You have to decide that this matters to you. You have to decide that learning a skill is a non-negotiable. You have to decide that even though you are tired, even though you don't have time, even though your world is happening so fast, you're going to do it anyways. Because inspiration doesn't last, motivation comes and goes, but a decision stays with you, good or bad. Second, you have to know your why, not just what you want to learn, but why you want to learn it. The what only gets you started, it only gets you so far. The why keeps you going when it gets hard. When you're tired at 4:30 a.m. and your bed keeps calling you, the why is the reason why you are going to get out of bed. My why was I didn't want to be stuck in a particular place that didn't, fulfill me for the rest of my life. And that actually kept me going. Third, your weekends are a gold mine. Listen, your employer may be paying for, your Monday to Friday 9 to 5, but Saturdays and Sundays from 6 p.m. Friday till about 8 a.m. on Monday morning, those are about 62 hours, and those 62 hours belong to you. If you account for sleep, let's say maybe roughly 20 hours average between Friday 6 p.m. and Monday 8 a.m., let's say you have roughly about 20 hours of sleep, maybe you stretch it, 20 hours of sleep, you've got about 42 to 48 hours left that are completely yours, right? If you dedicate even if it's 20 hours every week to learn one skill in 3 months, that is a total of 240 hours. 240 hours, focus hours on one thing. Do you know what that can do? That can completely change your life. Most people waste their weekends, they sleep in, they scroll, they chill, and that's fine sometimes. Obviously, sometimes you need a hard reset, sometimes you need a break. But if you're serious about changing your life, changing your situation, your weekends are where the actual work happens. Number four, discipline is everything. You can wake up by 4:30 a.m., but if you don't actually show up for yourself, then it doesn't really matter. You can plan to choose your weekend, you can plan to use your weekends, but if you don't stick to it, nothing really changes. The difference between people who change their lives and people who stay the same is discipline. I don't think it's talent, I don't think it's luck. I think it's showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Right? So here's the exact system to learn a skill while you're working. Step one, make a decision and identify your why. Sit down and ask yourself, do I actually need to learn a skill? Do I need to improve an existing skill? And be honest with yourself. Don't say yes because you think you should, say yes because you actually want to change something. Then ask yourself, why? The why is one of the most important parts in this decision, and then you have to write it down. Make it specific. Don't just say, I want to make more money. Say, I want to transition into data analysis so I can work remote, have more flexibility with my family, and make more money. That specific why is what will keep you going even when you face challenges and frustrations on your way and on your journey. Step 2, create a system. Decide when you are going to learn, right? Is it morning before work? That's ideal because you have most of your energy. Or evenings after work, or weekends. Pick a specific time and protect it like it's an appointment. Decide what you are learning, a course, reading a book, building projects, YouTube tutorials. Find the format that works for you and decide how long you are committing. Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? A year? Give yourself an endpoint so you know that you know what you are working towards. Step 3, guard your weekends like your life depends on it, because it kind of does. Your weekends are where accelerated training, and learning happens. That's where you can do deep work. That's where you can build projects. That's where you can really progress. If you dedicate 20 hours every weekend, you are accumulating time, you're stacking hours. And after 3 months, 240 hours of focused work is going to show real results. Step 4, create accountability. Tell people what you are doing. Tell your friends, tell your family, your inner circle. Post about it on social media if you have to. One of the things we're going to be talking about later is building a LinkedIn presence, because then you've said it out loud and it becomes real. Your brain registers that, oh, we are really doing this. And when it gets hard, people are going to ask about it, right? You are not going to want to admit that you give up. Step 5, stick to it. This is the hardest part. You're going to have days when you don't want to show up. You're going to have weeks where life, gets very chaotic. You're going to have moments where you question why you even started this journey. That's normal. It's part of the process, but stick to it anyway. Show up, do the work. Because here's the thing, if you don't do this, nobody's going to force you, obviously. And if you fail, nobody's going to rescue you. And you're going to have to explain to yourself, and eventually, probably your kids, are going to explain to the people depending on you why your situation didn't change. So you might as well just stick to it. Right, so you don't need more time. I don't think anybody has the power to convert 24 hours into 25 hours. You need to make a choice and protect it like your life depends on it, because it actually does. 240 hours, that's all it takes. 3 hours of dedication, that's the math that changes everything, right? So that's when D speaks today. I'll catch you on my next episode. Thank you for joining.